Welcome back, everyone. What I want to do in this video is just give you a brief overview of how to do the ChadaClock project. And it sounds a little bit harder than it really is. So I want to go through it step by step and then be looking for a short video on how to do some of the features, which I hope will help you. It really sounds a lot harder than it is, so don't let fancy words in here give you a hard time. It's not as difficult as you may wonder. So let's go through this thing over here. It tells you that you're a recent graduate of SNU and you're taking time to consider the type of work you really want to do, and therefore have focused your job search on a junior development position. And searching the major job boards, you discover Chada Tech. So what they're asking to be done is, and it gives you the brief demonstration or the brief evaluation of what the company does as part of the product process. You're going to ask for coding skills, so you can read all that on your own. And so what they want to do is the following. They have domestic and international clients, and they need to both meet the standards of 12 and 24-hour clocks on their website rather than just a 12-hour clock. So what we want to do, since you are a top candidate, you're going to apply a program logic by creating two clocks that display simultaneously allow for user input to secure efficient C++ code. So let's just take a look at the directions. So the first thing it tells you is to create an object-oriented program in there. And that means you need to create a class in there. So what they tell you is to have a header file. And if you're going to have a header file, then you need to have a class file as well. So what you're going to be turning in is 3 separate files, and you're going to be zipping everything in there. So if you need help with zipping your program, let me know and I can try to help you with that. So let's go. The first thing is you're going to need the main program, which is going to be the starter program. And I recommend calling it clock main. And then you're going to have the clock header file, which you'd want to call clock.h. And then the class method file, which is going to be clock.cpp. So they want you to review the functional requirements that are in the supporting materials. And here's a flow chart. So one of the things that a lot of times is not done correctly is asking the initial user to put the time in. Do not go and use the system clock to get the time, although you can, but it's not what it's asking you to do. Don't put in the time itself. It says to get the user input. So the first thing you're going to do is get both the hours, the minutes, and the seconds in there. Then you're going to display the menu. And then there's going to be a 1, 2, 3, or 4. 1 will be add hour, 2 will be add minute, 3 will be add second, and 4 will be exit. So if the user just presses 1, you add an hour, 2 add a minute, and 3 add a second, and at 4, it's going to exit. So what you want to do is you will need to put the display menu and get selection in a loop so that the user continuously can add an hour, until they finally press exit in here. You don't want to do it just one time. You want to make sure that it's in a loop in here. And that takes care of the actual flow chart. So what you want to do is make sure you're following the flow chart in there. So let's go to the actual sheet itself. So this is what it tells you to do. So it gives you the problem statement again. And then you have 2 clocks. Notice that they're displayed side by side. So doing the stars is really not as challenging as you think. There's several different ways to do it. You can just do a simple for loop and print that many stars, or there's a way that you can declare a string variable with initializing to that number of stars. And then what you're going to want to do here is display the word 12-hour clock and then a 12-hour time. Notice this has PM. This is a 24-hour clock, and then obviously it's going to have hours that are greater than 15. Now remember, if you have 11:59:59 p.m., which would be 23:59:59 in a 24-hour clock, and you enter at second, it needs to display 0 1200, not 0 in here. So remember that you want to have 12 in here, and it's really not a real issue in here to do this one here, because we're going to make sure that it's going to have AM, not 0. Here on the 24-hour clock, you would need to do 00 and not 12, because you're going to have 11:59 and it's going to go to 12. So if you did 12:00:00, you would not know whether it's 12 a.m. or p.m. So going back again, in this one, you go to 12 a.m. This one, you go to 00. Then you display the menu. So this is after the first time you get the data input, where you get the clock will be the hours, and minutes, and the seconds. Then you're going to display this menu. So you're going to need a function that's called display menu. Then you're going to get the selection in here. You should only have the function void display menu. You should call that from get menu selection, or however way you want to do it, and display the menu and display the menu only. It's never a good idea to have a function do more than one thing. So if you have display menu, it should be strictly display menu. So I would recommend in your while loop, whether you do a while loop or do while loop, then you're going to do display menu, get selection, process selection. So I'll leave how you do that on your own. Once the selection is made, you're going to increment either the hour, you're going to increment the minute, or you're going to increment the second. And you're going to keep doing that until the user presses 4 to exit the program. So remember that they're side by side, and you can do the menu however way you want to do it. Usually what I recommend is displaying the menu and then put what is your selection, and you put between 1 and 4. Now remember, you need to check to make sure the person doesn't type in 5 or 0 or whatever it is. So I can help you with that if you need help. And then once you make the selection, you're going to process the selection. You would have maybe a function that's called add minute, another function add hour. So what you think is, wow, that's kind of challenging in here, but it's really not if you think of the modulus. So how do we do the hours? If we're in a 12-hour clock, what we're going to do is check to see if it's over 12. How do you do that? What I would do is just do mod 12. So if it's mod 12, you're going to do that. But however, remember that with the 12-hour clock, you need to have 12 a.m. So you can check between a.m. and p.m. in there. With the 24-hour clock, again, this time you're going to use mod 24. So that's how you do that. Same thing with the seconds and the minutes. You're going to be using mod 60. So if you have 59 and then you add let's say a minute, then it would actually be 60 minutes. But what you do then is you would, since you're going to use the mod, it would go back to 0. But remember to increment the hour. Same thing if you go from 59 to 60 in seconds, you need to increment the minute. So that is it. I'm hoping that this is helpful for you. It's a short video. I did this on the fly, was not pre-rehearsed. So hopefully it was understandable. And it does tell you over here, cannot be more than 12:59:59, because then it would be 1 p.m. This cannot be 23:59:59 is the latest that it can be. And that is everything that I have. I will try to make some short videos on how to do this. If you run into a problem, I have Fridays, which are a good day for me to meet with people. If you need to set up a meeting, I should be able to do that pretty much anytime Friday morning. I'm on the east coast of Florida. So if you're on the west coast of Florida, that would be 12 p.m. for me, would be 9 a.m. for you. I understand people work and you may not be able to meet, but I can also meet for a little bit of time. I teach a class from 8 in the morning to 11:30 on Saturdays. I can meet you at 12 o'clock, which would be 12 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock if you're on the West Coast, or if you're in Chicago, that would be 11 o'clock. So let me know if that works for you. Let me know if you're running into a problem. I know we don't meet formally, so I'm trying to make as many videos as I can to help you out. That's all I have for this. I hope that you enjoy this program. I think it was a lot of fun when I did it. It's a nice challenge in there. So most of the time, students do very, very well on it. So hopefully you will as well. But if not, I'm here. Just please not let me know at 10 o'clock on Sunday night that you're having trouble with it. The earlier that you give me notice, the easier it is for me to help you. So have a wonderful, wonderful day and enjoy the project.